Yama, I'm Jack Evans and you're watching BTN. Here's what's coming up. We'll get the lowdown on the big White House renos. Find out the story behind this governor's historic apology. And learn what an analogue astronaut is. But first today, we're going to the Caribbean, which was hit by a devastating storm last week. Its name was Hurricane Melissa, and it was the strongest that's been seen in this part of the world. Here's Ren with more.
In the sky, a huge, powerful storm was growing. Below, people across the Caribbean prepared for what was coming.
People outside, they don't know the danger of this. Leave down here, because down here does not look safe.
As we speak today, will be very difficult for tens of thousands, if not millions of people in Jamaica. Roofs will be tested, floodwater will rise.
It's coming, it's coming.
Last week, Jamaica was hit by the strongest storm it's seen since records began. Its name? Hurricane Melissa.
We are indeed looking at the storm of the century.
It made its way from the Atlantic Ocean into the Caribbean. And when it hit Jamaica, it was a Category 5 hurricane, which is the strongest rating that exists. Wind speeds inside the spinning storm reached nearly 300 k's an hour. But it travelled super slowly. I'm talking slower than walking pace. This meant it stuck around for longer, causing more damage.
It was terrifying for me and my child. The water level reached me to my waist.
As it moved through the Caribbean, it caused a lot of damage. It ripped trees from the ground, roofs off homes, and flooded entire towns, leaving hundreds of thousands of homes without any electricity and killing more than 50 people.
The waves were very strong. We were on the second floor and the waves reached all the way up.
Now, hurricanes, typhoons or cyclones, as we call them here in Australia, don't happen everywhere. They tend to affect people who live near the equator, where the Earth is closer to the sun and the weather is warmer and more humid. Why? Well, because hurricanes like Melissa use warm water to gain their power. Cyclones only form over warm ocean water, where the surface is above 26.5 degrees. That's when water evaporates and rises up into the sky, causing some big old storm clouds to form. As more warm, humid air gets sucked up, the clouds grow. And the movement of wind caused by the spinning of the Earth can make the storm whip around into a big spiral. The hotter the water, the more powerful they become, which is why experts are worried climate change is only going to make storms like this one more common.
Hurricane season happens every year, and unfortunately, they're getting worse. How do we really support these small islands so that there are ways to either prevent this or to have systems in place that can make it better?
Right now, people across the Caribbean and Central America are still cleaning up the mess that Hurricane Melissa left behind. Lots of people are working together to send supplies and support to people who need it, from local volunteer groups to the United Nations.
Carrying supplies from the World Food Programme, the International Organization for Migration, and UNICEF.
Meanwhile, many are just happy to see the storm pass and to feel safe again.
It's a bit scary, but, we got each other, so we're strong.
Hundreds of ancient history students in Queensland found out last week that they'd learned the wrong topic for their Year 12 exams. Do you know the name of the famous Roman leader they were supposed to be studying? It's Julius Caesar. Unfortunately, at least 8 schools have been teaching their students about his nephew, Augustus, instead.
Our teacher's kicking himself up over it, but honestly, it's not on him.
We had a great meeting a week ago. You came all the way and now you came here, but this isn't quite as far.
Where did Australia's Prime Minister have dinner with the US President last week? Was it in Korea, Malaysia, or Japan? It was in Korea, which was hosting the APEC summit. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also travelled to Malaysia, which was hosting a meeting of ASEAN, which stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. There was a bit of a storm last week over the redesigned website of which government agency. Was it Services Australia, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, or the Bureau of Meteorology? It was the bomb, and its redesign kinda bombed, with some saying it made important information harder to find.
Easy access to individual radars have been removed. The colour scheme we've become accustomed to has changed.
I hate that change. What's going on there? No, I'm not a fan.
The Bureau of Meteorology has apologised for the confusion the change had caused, and said they'll make adjustments and help people get used to the change. Now, you might have heard that the home of the US president is looking a bit different at the moment. The country's president surprised a lot of people by demolishing the east wing of the White House. Ren found out what's going on and why it's causing a stir.
Welcome to the White House, the symbol of America's democracy. Allow me to show you around. Here we have the executive residence, where US presidents and their families live. To the west, there's the West Wing, which houses the Oval Office. It's where the president works. And then to the east, you have the... Oh, well, normally this is where the East Wing is. Normally. Yep, right now, one of America's most recognisable buildings is a little less recognisable, after part of it was demolished to make way for a brand new ballroom.
It's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders.
Now, just so you're all aware, this isn't the first time the White House has been renovated. For starters, the whole thing burned down. It was rebuilt. And from there, US presidents started adding their own touches. Theodore Roosevelt added the West Wing. Then William Howard Taft expanded it and added the Oval Office, which Franklin Roosevelt moved. He also added the East Wing, a pool, a bomb shelter and a movie theatre. Busy, busy. In 1949, Harry Truman gutted and rebuilt basically the whole interior and added a bowling alley. And in 1961, John F. Kennedy created the Situation Room, where national security meetings are still held today. So yes, the White House has undergone many, many changes over the years. But this one has certainly got people talking. Why? Well, for one, it's the biggest change the White House has seen in decades. Two, it came as a bit of a surprise. You see, President Trump originally said the ballroom wouldn't interfere with the East Wing, which was mainly used by the First Lady, that is, the president's wife.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of.
Plus, the whole project is being funded by Donald Trump and private donors, which is pretty unusual. And no one else really got a say. That's not against the rules, but again, it's pretty unusual. Yeah, you see, this US president is operating a little differently to most. He's made a lot of big decisions quickly, sometimes without going through the usual processes. For example, those tariffs you're probably sick of us talking about. He's also sent the military into major cities against the wishes of local authorities.
To have a great country, you can't have crime. And if the governor can't straighten it out, we'll straighten it out.
He's even floated the idea of serving as president for a third time, even though the Constitution says you can't. All of this has made a lot of Americans worried and angry.
The total disregard for the Constitution is incredible now, and it's increasing every day.
The country is also dealing with a national shutdown, which means government workers aren't being paid because the two main political parties won't agree to pass a national budget. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And to some, seeing the White House looking like this was pretty upsetting.
If there's ever symbolism for this presidency, there it is.
Others see it as a builder doing what he knows best, taking charge and making things happen.
this time versus the last term, he's just going forward, 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 and he's not worrying about what people are saying about him. He's working for us.
Either way, it's a historic moment for the White House and the country it represents. What a time to be a tour guide.
What did President Barack Obama add to the White House in 2009? Was it a tennis court, a basketball court, or a hot tub? It was a basketball court. Now we're going to Western Australia, where the state's governor has made an important speech. He formally apologised to the descendants of those killed in one of the most brutal attacks in Australia's history, the Pinjarra Massacre of 1834. Let's find out more.
Every year on this date, we gather here to remember the massacre in 1834. And this year, I'm very honoured to welcome the Governor, Chris Dawson.
The presence of Western Australia's governor here in Pinjarra was a special moment, because it was the first governor 191 years ago who was responsible for one of the worst massacres in Australia's history.
I come here on the invitation of the Bindjarab Noongar people. I come here on foot, unarmed, to walk softly on this country. I come with my heart, my court, to say sorry. I come here today to say sorry for the dreadful wrongs perpetrated by the first governor of Western Australia, Sir James Stirling.
Before me, my father, my aunties and my pop fought for, this to be recognised, and for the governor to come down and actually do it is a big step for us as a community.
The Pinjarra Massacre took place on the 28th of October 1834. The then Western Australian Governor, Sir James Stirling, led a group of armed men to ambush a group of Bindjarab Noongar people on the banks of the Murray River. While Governor Stirling reported killing 15 people, locals say that number is actually closer to 80. You might not have heard of the Pinjarra Massacre before. It hasn't always been taught in schools, and neither have many of the other violent conflicts between Australia's First Nations and European settlers that were part of what we sometimes call the Frontier Wars. As you probably know, British people arrived in 1788 on a continent that had been home to Aboriginal people for tens of thousands of years. As they spread out, many Indigenous people fought to defend their land. There were hundreds of massacres that killed tens of thousands of people, like here in Victoria, at a place known as the Convincing Ground, where British whalers fought and killed many Gunditjmara people. And this waterhole near Geraldton in WA, called Woolong or Binu Springs, was the site of a massacre in 1854.
They came from all sides, that side, and made like a killing ground, really.
The last recorded massacre took place less than 100 years ago, in 1928, at the Coniston Cattle Station in the Northern Territory. The exact details of these killings weren't always recorded, so it's hard to know exactly how many people died. But historians and traditional knowledge holders are working to find and tell the truth.
I did not know of the massacres, I'm ashamed to say.
By learning about the past from First Peoples' perspective, we can better understand how that past connects with now, the present.
For many, it's not just a way of acknowledging conflicts that took place here. It's also an important step for healing and reconciliation.
To me, it's a giant step. It's so significant that, I'm still trying to process it.
Recently, a heap of scientists across the globe got locked in big dark rooms for 2 weeks. Why? to get a taste of what life would be like living on the Moon and Mars. It was part of a project called The World's Biggest Analogue, and Kale went to find out more.
So you see, this is where we spend most of the day.
For 2 weeks, these guys have been living, working, eating,
And then you add hot water.
and sleeping on the Moon. Okay, maybe it's more like a tent in a shed. But this is some serious pretending that's helping the world get ready for a new era of space travel.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So, humans haven't set foot on the Moon in more than 50 years. But we're going back.
Buckle up, everybody. We're going for a ride to the Moon.
NASA, with the help of private space companies, has plans to set up bases on the Moon.
The Moon, you guys!
Back to the Moon and beyond. Which could serve as a launch pad to go to Mars. But to pull this off, there's lots of work that needs to be done here on Earth. And that's why I've come out to the University of Adelaide.
So I've made it to the Moon, but it says do not enter. Luckily, mission control is just over there.
Pretend missions like this, also called analogues, have been used for ages. This is Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong pretending to collect lunar samples just a few months before they actually went to the Moon. It's important to practice, because real space is dangerous.
Because if you open the window, you're dead. If you mess up the rocket engine, you're dead. If you mess up your oxygen supply, you're dead. If you don't prepare your food for at least months in advance, you're dead. It's a bit more extreme than most places on Earth.
If you guys were on the actual Moon, would you still be alive right now?
Most likely not.
We keep track of what we call the simulation death. I think we all have one simulation death except Ilya. Ilya is still alive as far as the simulation is concerned.
Besides trying not to die, Louise, Adrian, Ilya and Kato have been doing experiments.
We've been growing some plants for the past 8 days.
Testing out equipment and getting used to life as an astronaut.
I didn't realize that when you actually put the helmet on, you might get a little bit claustrophobic. So that was a little bit surprising to me. And then when the fog starts coming in, I really fog up a lot on EVA. So what do? Do I rub the helmet with my nose? Do I lick it with my tongue, which I have done a couple of times? You got to find a way to go to the next thing while being safe.
Our shower, which is wet wipes.
A lot of wet wipes. A lot of wet wipes.
And at the same time, other scientists around the world have been doing something similar. It was all part of the world's biggest analogue, a project combining 16 different Moon and Mars habitats across the Earth, all working together at once.
This massive, massive global mission. Are we in fact then also mimicking potentially a lunar colony, lunar settlement, something like that, which is not that far off?
And while these analogue astronauts are still safe on Earth, it can be easy to miss the little things.
I really like fresh fruit, and it's not available here, of course.
My baby boy, my son, was born 5 months ago, and I didn't expect him to be growing up so fast.
I miss my tools.
Whilst I feel for your tools, I feel like the audience is probably going to connect more with you missing your son.
Do you know the name of NASA's mission to return humans to the Moon? It's Artemis. Artemis was the Greek goddess of the hunt, wild animals and the moon, and was also the twin sister of Apollo, the name given to NASA's first manned mission to the Moon.
Now check this out.
History in the making for Gemma Houghton!
With just 50 seconds left to go in the game, Port Adelaide's Gemma Houghton has become the first AFLW player to reach 100 career goals. She reached the milestone after the siren at her team's clash against the GWS Giants over the weekend. Houghton first started her AFLW career at Fremantle, kicking a total of 40 goals for the Dockers, and then another 60 after moving to the Power in 2022. And speaking of history,
24 in a row.
North Melbourne have won more games in a row than any other major Aussie rules team. They haven't lost a game since the 2023 Grand Final and head into the finals after a 49-point win over the Hawks and a perfect season. Wow, what a moment! India has just clinched its first ever Women's ODI Cricket World Cup. India started off strong, racking up 298 runs in their innings, with Shafali Verma smashing 87 of 78. South Africa looked up to the task, with opener Laura Wolfhard making a century.
100 in a semi-final.
But after Amanjot Kaur's incredible catch, it was all over, with India coming out on top by 52 runs. Finally, to the biggest marathon in the world, the New York City Marathon. This year, more than 55,000 people put their running shoes on to run 42 odd Ks through the city streets. And Kenya absolutely crushed it in the men's and women's, with Benson Kipruto clocking in at 2 hours, 8 minutes and 9 seconds, and Helen Obiri crossing the line in a course record of 2 hours, 19 minutes and 51 seconds.
Finally today, we're going to share another BTN passion project, which is all about telling stories about things that are important to you. And this week, we're getting a tour of Mypolonga's historic school shop.
Welcome to our shop!
We're in Mypolonga.
It's like a country area, so it's a bit quiet and small. The shop's been running for 30 years.
We sell lemonade,
postcards, key rings, magnets and bookmarks.
We also sell recipe books that students have made over the years.
The Proudmary is like a riverboat that goes on the Murray River.
The river's just over there.
It's mainly elderly people that come here. After they've been on the boat for a while, they come on the bus and they drive around to come over here.
There is tour leaders and they show the people around the school.
And they just have a look at the shop and have an opportunity to buy stuff.
And it's real money, not fake.
$14 and $15.
Every school shop we get around $600. And last week we ended up having $1,294. And anything sold at the outside counter will go into students' classroom profit for camps and excursions.
We bought new soccer balls and netballs and stuff. People around Mypo make items and they go up into the inside counter.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
And we get 20% commission for each item.
$6 for BJS. We kind of have full control technically. The teachers just supervise us and help us with some monies.
They give us all the responsibilities of running a business and owning an actual shop. When you're handling money, you have to balance how many you sold and make sure that you've got all the right amounts of everything. Little poems and pictures of around the area. The first time I worked at the shop, I felt really nervous. It was pretty scary because there was lots of people that you don't know and it's a bit overwhelming. But then they always complimented me and they smiled at me and it made me feel really nice about myself. We're one of the only schools in Australia that run a program like this and it's very special for our community. It's quite intriguing to just be able to have that leadership to step up and run our own business at 11 or 12 years old.
Bye.
Oh, nice one, guys. And remember, if you have a passion project you want to share, let us know on our website. Well, that's all we have for now, but we'll be back next week with more. And in the meantime, as always, you can keep up to date with Newsbreak or check out BTN High online. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.